Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm the All Hallows Geek, and welcome to This Week in Eek, my weekly series where I put a little eek in your week by recapping some of the top stories in Halloween and horror news from the last week. Holy hell, has it been a week. This week was jam-packed with news, and that's thanks to Netflix's Geek Week. You had Ghostbusters Day, and that's all on top of the day-to-day stories that surfaced throughout the week. So really, let's dive in and start with the biggest story of the week. And that's on Monday, we got official word that Neve Campbell will not be returning for the 6th installment of the Scream franchise. Campbell has of course played Scream final girl and franchise heroine Sidney Prescott in every film since the original, but unfortunately, it sounds like the actress and the studio couldn't come to a deal that she felt was fair. Sadly, I won't be making the next Scream film, Campbell told Deadline. As a woman, I've had to work extremely hard in my career to establish my value, especially when it comes to Scream. I felt the offer that was presented to me did not equate to the value I brought to the franchise. Campbell concluded in saying, "It's been a very difficult decision to move on. To all my Scream fans, I love you. You've always been so incredibly supportive to me. I'm forever grateful to you and to what this franchise has given me over the past 25 years. Scream 6 is slated to be released in theaters on March 31st, 2023, and carries on the story of the new generation of Woodsboro survivors that were introduced in this year's Scream. It's unfortunate to see her go, but I fully back her on her decision to not return based on, feeling that she isn't being valued. She's a huge part of the franchise, and she will be missed, but hopefully it doesn't mess too much with the next film and the script, and we still get a decent movie out of it, because I did enjoy Scream 5 and the new characters that it brought in, but we'll see. And another big story of this week actually came out of Netflix's Geek Week, the week-long online celebration of all things genre at Netflix. On Monday, Netflix gave fans their first look at Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Addams for the new Tim Burton series, Wednesday. And honestly, Ortega looks incredible as this iconic character. So much so that I honestly considered making the photo that was released my lock screen on my phone. It turned out so cool. It's got such a Tim Burton vibe and a Wednesday vibe. It's awesome. I can't wait to see her performance. She's quickly become a favorite of mine thanks to films like The Babysitter, Killer Queen, Scream, most recently X. Hell, I even enjoyed her as Harley Diaz in the Disney Channel show Stuck in the Middle when my kids used to watch it. So she's just a fun actress, and I can't wait to see what she does in this role. Wednesday will premiere on Netflix sometime this fall, and will be a coming-of-age comedy series, really charting Wednesday Addams' years as a student at Nevermore Academy, where she attempts to master her emerging psychic ability, thwart a monstrous killing spree, and solve a supernatural mystery that embroiled her parents 25 years ago. And honestly, if those two stories weren't big enough, we've got another. This week, Rob Zombie offered up the first teaser for his Munsters movie. Zombie released the teaser on social media to mixed reactions. The teaser opens with an abbreviated recreation of the intro to the classic Munsters television series, complete with the original theme song. And it introduces us to Jeff Daniel Phillips as Herman Munster, Sherry Moon Zombie as Lily Munster, and Daniel Roebuck as Grandpa Munster. The teaser ends with the trio in full colored, awkwardly sitting on a couch before Grandpa pipes up saying, "Now what?" And really, that is the question. While it was great to see a teaser for this highly anticipated film, it didn't give us much more than what we've already had. Zombie has shared behind-the-scenes photos of all three of these characters on social medias throughout filming, so beyond being a bit of a nostalgia piece for fans of the television series, there really wasn't much substance to it. So here's hoping that in the coming weeks or months we get something that really shows a bit of the plot of this and really shows these actors' performances. Again, it was great. It was fun to see that recreation. I don't think that's part of the movie. I think it's just Zombie's way of saying hey, this is coming. This is a thing. Here are my Munsters. So fingers crossed we get something more. I want this to be good. I know a lot of people have tried to poo-poo on this. I want this to be good. I love the Munsters. I know Zombie loves the Munsters. So hopefully we get a great film. It's due to be released sometime later this year. And growing up, did you ever sit there watching ScoobyDoo and wish you could hang out in the Mystery Machine? Well, in celebration of the 20th anniversary of the live-action Scooby-Doo movie, Shaggy actor Matthew Lillard is giving fans the opportunity to do just that, courtesy of Airbnb. This week, Lillard listed the Mystery Machine on Airbnb, and it will be available for 3 stays on June 24th, 25th, and 26th. The Mystery Machine accommodates 2 guests who will get to live like Shaggy and Scooby in the Mystery Machine, which will be parked in Malibu, California, overlooking the beautiful views of the Pacific Ocean and the nearby mountains. Upon arrival, you'll receive a virtual greeting from Matthew Lillard before getting to enjoy a throwback to 2002, complete with all-you-can-eat snacks, mystery games, a late-night rewatch of Scooby-Doo, and the latest Sugar Ray album on a portable CD player. The Mystery Machine is currently listed at just $20 a night, and bookings will open at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, June 16th. For links to the Airbnb listing, be sure to head over to my full coverage over on allhallowsgeek.com. And we're only 4 stories in, and this week has already been pretty big, but for this next story, you're going to need a bigger boat. Or in this case, a bigger theater. And that's because for the first time ever, the Steven Spielberg classics Jaws and E.T. are headed to IMAX. E.T. will be released exclusively on IMAX screens beginning August 12th in celebration of the film's 40th anniversary, and if you're headed to see Jurassic World Dominion this weekend, you'll likely catch the trailer for the film's IMAX release. Fans of Jaws will actually get 2 new ways of experiencing the film when it's released on IMAX screens and in RealD 3D on September 2nd. Both of these films were culture-defining when they were released and continue to be fan favorites. It's really kind of hard to believe Universal Pictures and Amblin could make these classics even bigger than they already are, but this definitely sounds like an experience that fans of these films won't want to miss. And while we're on the topic of iconic films, I've got to share some news out of Ghostbusters Day, the annual celebration, which takes place on June 8th to coincide with the June 8th, 1984 release of the original film. And this year, Sony Pictures celebrated the event with EctoFest, where they shared tons of news around toys and games and more, all related to the Ghostbusters franchise. But at the end of the event, Ghostbusters Afterlife filmmakers Jason Reitman and Gil Keenan took to the stage to share some exciting news around projects that will expand the Ghostbusters universe. So first, the duo announced that the Ghostbusters would be returning to comics next year in an all-new limited edition series from Dark Horse Comics. The new series will tell an exclusive, unique Ghostbusters story that will be in canon and part of the growing Ghostbusters story that began in 1984 and was revived in 2021's Ghostbusters Afterlife. The duo then announced that Sony Pictures Animation was developing a Ghostbusters animated feature film. The movie will feature all new characters and be a fresh take on the world of Ghostbusters and will be helmed by Jennifer Kluska and Chris Pranosky. Reitman and Keenan also confirmed a story that broke from Variety earlier in the day about a new Ghostbusters animated series in the works at Netflix. Reitman and Keenan are said to be executive producers with Sony Pictures Animation and Netflix teaming up to create the series. Both projects sounds to be in very early stages of development, so no further details were announced, but it sounds like Reitman has happily picked up the Ghostbusters torch following his father's passing, and he's giving fans plenty to get excited about in the coming years. Alright, let's shift gears a bit and talk video games. Late last week, Capcom announced that Resident Evil 4 will be the next game in the Resident Evil franchise to get a remake. Capcom has already remade the first 3 games in the franchise, with the last release being Resident Evil 3 Remake in 2020. The updated take on the original 2005 survival horror title was announced for a March 24th, 2023 release, and in addition to reworking the story, the Resident Evil 4 Remake will provide players a fresh gameplay experience featuring highly immersive visuals powered by the cutting-edge graphics technology of Capcom's proprietary RE engine. The game will be available for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and the PC when it's released. And this October, Michael Myers is set to return to the big screen in Halloween Ends, and this week Universal Studios announced that The Shape would also be making his return to Halloween Horror Nights at both Universal Studios Hollywood and Universal Orlando Resort. Guests will come face to face with Myers on both coasts in haunted houses inspired by John Carpenter's classic 1978 film Halloween. This year's experiences will transport guests to the infamous town of Haddonfield, Illinois on Halloween night, when Michael Myers first donned his notorious mask to embark on his brutal rampage. As guests make their way through his dilapidated home and iconic scenes from the movie, they'll narrowly dodge attacks from the knife-wielding Myers as he stalks their every move. Halloween Horror Nights returns to Universal Orlando Resort on September 2nd and September 8th at Universal Studios Hollywood. Tickets and vacation packages for Orlando are on sale now, and tickets for Universal Studios Hollywood will be available soon. Both events will run on select nights through Halloween. And finally, in the realm of teasers and trailers this week, Netflix has released the official trailer for its new Resident Evil series. The streaming service also released a sneak peek at a new stop-motion animated feature called Wendell and Wild from Nightmare Before Christmas director Henry Selick and starring Key and Peele. Netflix also released the trailer for the Taiwanese horror blockbuster Incantation. The found-footage horror film will stream exclusively on Netflix starting in July. And while I didn't get around to writing about it on the site, this week Hulu dropped a trailer for Prey, which looks to be a refreshing new entry in the Predator franchise that's set in the Comanche Nation 300 years ago. Seriously, if you haven't seen this trailer yet, check it out. It's bananas seeing Native Americans hunt the Predator or vice versa. It's crazy. Anyway. One more quick thing before we go. I wanted to give a quick plug for the Instagram Live I did with Miranda over at Spooky Little Halloween this week. Miranda had me on to chat all things Stranger Things 4. In it, we chat about the music, our favorite moments and characters, some of our theories around this season's events. We even go into our predictions for Volume 2 and beyond and what we think is going to happen to the various groups. So, like the season's episodes, though, I will warn you, it ran a bit long, but people were engaged in the chat and enjoying it, so we kept it going. So I'll share a link to the recording down in the description below. I will warn you, though, it's obviously spoiler heavy because we're talking about pretty much everything. So if you haven't finished Stranger Things 4, you might want to wait before you check it out. But if you watched it, definitely check it out and let me know what you think. That's it for this week. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, leave me a comment, or better yet, subscribe to make sure you always get your weekly dose of Geek. For more information on any of this week's top stories, you can always find the full coverage over on allhallowsgeek.com. And until next time, keep it creepy.